From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you to this Tuesday's edition of For the People on an October the 31st, 2017, and it is Halloween for sure. Are you getting scared? Don't get too scared. I always feel like, it is Thriller. Michael Jackson. It's like the all-time favorite here at Studio 1A here in Tampa, Florida, where we do For the People. But you cannot have Halloween unless you have a little Thriller. The video, if you've never seen the Thriller. Oh, yeah. By the way, NASA, they are doing something for Halloween. They're going to try to scare you a little bit. They've released the creepy space sounds on its website. Yep, just in time for Halloween. The sounds were made when engineers converted captured radio waves, the way I understand it, in space into sound waves. NASA's saying this, nasa.gov. That's where you can go and check this all out. The sounds include the spacecraft Juno passing through Jupiter's magnetic field in 2016, plasma waves, the Van Allen probes, Saturn radio emissions captured by Cassini, and Galileo's first flyby of Jupiter's largest moon. And one of the sounds NASA released came from NASA's Stardust spacecraft while it was pelted by dust particles in small rocks from the comet Tempel 1 in 2011. So if you're looking for some ghoulish sounds, nasa.gov. Check it out. Now, just having a little fun here on Halloween. And listen, please, if you're bringing the kids out, if you're adult and you like to trick or treat, be very careful. There's already reports of candy being laced with drugs, marijuana. There was a report this morning out and made national headlines of crystal meth. I'm not even kidding. So authorities are not sure whether it was just an accident dropped into the candy of a child, but yeah, this stuff happens. Listen, there's always going to be evil people lurking, and the candy, I can't tell you enough to most of you guys will check out your kids' candy, inspect the candy. If there's anything remotely close to being opened or looks a little out of sorts, even when you take it out of the package, throw it out. Throw it out, because there's always reports of somebody putting something in there, and it's sad to say, but usually you stay in the neighborhoods that you know, that you've hit. You know the people in there close to home. If you know your neighbors, if you don't know your neighbors, then just don't go. Just don't do it. It's not even worth it today. There's a lot of loons out there. So, anyways, a little public service announcement from yours truly. But I know that it's fun taking the kids around. I've never personally had any problem with candy in South Tampa, where I do the show from, in Tampa, Florida. But, you just never know. You don't know these days. And I just can't imagine how somebody could put marijuana or drugs or crystal meth and kill a kid. I mean, I would think that would kill a child. Just not a very cool thing to do. That's a trick or treat. Yeah, that was definitely yeah, that was a trick. All right. Yeah. Sick, man. Very, very sick. North Korea. They hacked into some blueprints of a warship and submarine And these classified documents coming in from South Korea and from their ship, Dong Lebro newspaper reported, citing opposition party lawmaker Kyung Dioso. I guess there's, 60 classified military documents were among the 40,000 hacked from South Korea. So they know all about the ship, its capabilities, and maneuvering, and et cetera, but it's not a surprise. North Korea, this is what they do. Kim's regime has been developing cyber capabilities as trade sanctions. He's feeling the choke, and so this is what he's doing. So don't be surprised if there's not more of the hacking going on in the United States. He's doing this to the South. It's believed that North Korea hacked Sony Pictures. Do you remember the Seth Rogen, The Interview? I love that movie, by the way. North Korea hated that movie. Well, it just shows some of the disparity. It shows the ridiculous things that people believe about the reverend leader who doesn't defecate. I saw this documentary my daughter was really interested in on Netflix, talking about propaganda and how brainwashed the North Koreans are and have been. And they start with little children in the classroom singing songs to their leader. I mean, their leader becomes God. And the interesting thing is of this documentary is they painted strong parallels to Christianity, about the rainbow, the imagery of the New Testament. It's strong correlations from that, and that's why Christianity is forbidden, even though they have a church in Pyongyang that they allow tourists to see. There were some interesting things that were pointed out with this documentary saying, wow, it's amazing that everybody sang perfectly. Everybody was on cue. Everybody knew every single song in the hymnal. It was staged. Just like when people, come out in the square and they're rollerblading and doing all these. This is not natural life on most days. And we're talking dozens and dozens and dozens of people have defected from the country. But there were some things that I learned that I thought was very interesting, is that they are definitely in the business of preserving at any cost and any way possible to preserve their way of life, their people. If you're a North Korean, and if there's going to be another war, they can put tens of thousands of people underground and live underground in the subway systems, and live there for some time. It's fully stocked with everything that you could imagine. They're ready for war, and they're ready to preserve people. So if there is the inkling that there's going to be a war, they send a lot of their folks underground. And also, if you're in prison in North Korea, and if there's a war, the jailers in these gulags are instructed to shoot them. Of course, they'll deny that, but to cover up the atrocities, to cover up what they've been doing. I don't know how that's going to exactly cover up with all the dead corpses, but what they say, dead man tell no tales. But, if you would think because of William Warmberry, and sad to say his condition, what do you think they're doing to their other detainees? They're definitely not having a good time. And the weird experiments they're probably doing are just sick. It's horrendous. It really is. But the propaganda pieces, seriously, that the North have been put together, these poor children worship Kim Jong-un, on all these leaders for decades and decades as Jesus Christ, the dear father. And he's supposed to be more of like a father figure for all of them. Nice cup of coffee today on Halloween, by the way. Temperatures, sadly, are going to go up to the 80s for the next several days, but another morning into the 50s. It was really nice this morning. Gosh, nice weather for Tampa, Florida, that's for sure. These people grew up this way, so part of me watching it says they don't know any better. They don't know anything, but for those people that think a little bit harder and are not so much a robot, you're thrown into jail if you have a differing thought or opinion and you articulate it. But it is good to work for the government. If you have a government job and you're North Korean, you get free food. Is it free? Medical and housing. So the father takes care of you for your work. You learn quickly over there to keep your mouth shut. And if you do open up and you feel like you deserve any particular right at any particular time that goes against the leader, the dear leader, as they put him, you'll be jailed very, very quick. Pyongyang actually looks pretty incredible. Most of those buildings that you see are actually unfinished inside. The hotel that they show downtown, unfinished. And it's been unfinished for decades. He's trying to finish it off, trying to make it look great, trying to build, some new things here. But with no money coming in, it's been tough for the guy. But according to experts, because of this cyber hacking right now discovered by the South Koreans, got them really upset because they have the military plans developed by the U.S. and South Korea that include a highly classified information, and we're talking hundreds and hundreds of pages of information on how they were going to go try to assassinate Kim Jong-un, how they would go about it. I mean, step by step by step, and I'm sure we've changed our plans to a certain degree, but, pretty damning information from the West showing that that was our intent to do it all along. So if you think it's a little odd that this guy is trying to get his nukes, many people over in that country that work under Un say this guy is just trying to self-preserve. He's just trying to protect himself. You may not agree with totalitarian, government and communism and everything that stands for, but that's the way they've been doing business over there for some time. I have spoken about what the main concern is, and that is setting off these nukes in a reckless way, saying that he's going to destroy the United States and he's launching missiles over Japan, and he's wanting to be some kind of power broker in that region. I don't think the United States is going to let that happen. China doesn't want it to happen. China's very concerned, and I believe China will be on our side if anything goes down. But this guy can't be trusted with him, and as a result, I believe coming up shortly, he's going to launch something when Trump is over there. And I've been telling you this for the last week, but I'm almost certain of it. It's going to happen. But his people are ready, is what I'm trying to tell you. Most people, where those subways are, and I don't know how many miles it never said, but they said they can put tens of thousands of people underground, and there's plenty of food and ready stations, and they can survive. So there'll be a lot of North Koreans left if there was a nuke war. They'd be able to survive all of that. So their people would be able to survive. So it's very interesting. They do have more things going, at least in that city, than meets the eye. And it's extremely secretive. There's a lot of things they just never show to the public that is only known by government officials on a need-to-know basis. And the public, a lot of them are just kept in the dark about literally so many things. The sad thing is that over 80% of their population is in starvation mode. Starving. They don't do any